So if you're a home bartender like me, but you're concerned because within your friend group and your social circle, there are a lot of people, or perhaps some people, or perhaps even just one person that does not drink alcohol, they're sober, but you still want to throw high quality cocktail parties, you still want to have a great time making great cocktails and enjoying them with the people in your social group that do drink alcohol, but you don't want to exclude the other people, the people that don't drink alcohol, then I have the perfect solution for you, and that's going to be mocktails. And I found that this is a very important topic to address, especially in the past few years. I've noticed from 2024 onwards, and perhaps you guys have noticed this as well, people are drinking less and less. I started home bartending in 2020, and I would honestly say that within my lifetime, 2020 was the year that people drank the most. A lot of different reasons for that. A lot of these were very unfortunate reasons, sadly, but it was all because of the whole COVID-19 pandemic. Because of that pandemic, people couldn't go out to drink. They couldn't go to bars, clubs, restaurants, lounges, things like that. So they had to drink in their own home. And also people were drinking more in general because of a lot of different factors. Poor mental health. People were spending more time at home because they were working from home. People were spending more time at home because they unfortunately lost their jobs. People were losing loved ones, things like that. So a lot of different unfortunate reasons, but people were drinking a lot more in 2020 because of all these different reasons associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. And home bartending really blew up in that year because, like I said, you couldn't go out to bars and restaurants and clubs and things like that to get cocktails. So a lot of people were trying to learn how to make cocktails at the time, including myself. I made my very first cocktail in June 2020, which is right square in the middle of the whole COVID-19 pandemic. So a lot of people were drinking more and more, but as time has progressed since the COVID-19 pandemic, especially in the last few years, 2024 onwards, I've noticed that people are drinking less and less. So it's very natural. There's going to be a larger proportion of people within your friend group that don't drink alcohol. It could be just for personal, cultural, health, or religious reasons, things like that. But a lot of people are just drinking less and less because of the whole long-term effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. People are valuing health a lot more. People are not going out as much. So, alcohol is always associated with going out. So because people are not going out as much compared to pre-pandemic times, people are drinking less. And, a lot of these different reasons, I would say those are the main two. People care more about health because of the COVID-19 pandemic. People have better mental health now than they did back in 2020. And then also people are just going out less and less to these different clubs and other venues when you go out compared to pre-pandemic times. Because of all these different reasons, people are drinking less and less. And, because mental health and physical health are a lot better than they were in 2020, people also have less of a need. A lot of people are able to go to work again in person and things like that. So people are spending less time at home. So there's less of a need for drinking alcohol. So naturally, there's going to be more people within your friend group or your social circle that don't drink alcohol. So what can you do for them? For me, I have found that the best answer is within your menu. Obviously, you're going to have your 2 or 3 main cocktails, but I would say to always have the ingredients on hand to make at least 1 or perhaps even 2 mocktails or version cocktails. So what these are essentially are cocktails that, quote unquote cocktails that don't have any alcoholic component. They contain just the non-alcoholic components. Things like juices, syrups, bitters, sodas. And bitters is a caveat because bitters do have bitters actually have a high alcohol concentration, but you're only going to be using a dash or 2. So with that, I would say make sure you clarify with your guests. Some people that are sober that don't drink alcohol are okay with bitters because it's just 1 dash of something as opposed to like an actual shot or something like that. But if people want to completely avoid alcohol, then you should avoid bitters too. But you still are left with a lot of other ingredients: syrups, juices, and sodas primarily. But there are a lot of other options as well. And there's a number of different great mocktails that you guys can do. I will leave the link in the description for the only mocktail video that I've made on this channel so far, which is on a pineapple ginger beer. But there's a number of other ones as well. I found that the pineapple ginger beer, of all the different mocktails I've tried, that one is actually the most complex because when you drink mocktails or virgin cocktails, you feel that you're really missing the alcohol because the alcohol adds a lot of complexity and character to the drink that you don't get with a lot of mocktails and virgin cocktails. A lot of them tend to taste more like juice, for example. But if you use ingredients, especially like ginger, which adds a nice spice element, you get a lot of complexity within the cocktail as well. And there's a few others that I've made quite consistently. One is the Roy Rogers, which is essentially grenadine and some type of cola like Coke or Diet Coke, for example, or Pepsi. That's a great mocktail that you can do. I'll do a video coming up pretty soon on how to make that cocktail. The grenadine adds a lot of complexity to that drink. So although it's very simple, just 2 ingredients, the grenadine adds a lot and makes that a great cocktail. And another one that I made, I actually found this from another bartending YouTuber, and it's basically, I call it like an almond lemonade. It's just almond orgeat, which is an almond syrup, lemon juice, and water. And that's another great virgin cocktail or mocktail as well. I've made those two, the Roy Rogers and the almond lemonade, countless times at my parties because I've always had guests that are not drinking. Like I said, religious reasons, cultural reasons, health reasons. Some people, because I'm in the medical field, I'm a full-time medical doctor, a lot of my friends are, still working during my parties, or they're working early the next day and they don't want to drink because, they could be on call, or they could be working the next day early in the morning. They don't want to have a hangover. They want to still enjoy it and have a good time. So for a lot of these different reasons, and if you're a busy professional like myself, you can probably relate to that. Some people might still literally be on the clock while they're at your parties. Some people might have a very early day the next day. Some people might have kids at home that they need to take care of when they get back home. A lot of different reasons why people are not drinking, but they still want to have a good time. Make these drinks for them. Make the almond lemonade, make the Roy Rogers. Like I said, I don't have videos yet on those two, but I'll get them out pretty soon, so you guys can do that. I'll link in the description below for the pineapple ginger beer. If there's any other mocktails that you guys are aware of, maybe you saw a recipe online or something like that, comment them down below. I'll try to make videos on those as soon as possible. I think it's really great to have at least one or two high quality mocktails or virgin cocktails in your repertoire to make at all times. For me, it was the Roy Rogers and the almond lemonade. That's what I've used for the majority of my career. But now, as I found that my career as a home bartender, but now as I found that more and more people are getting away from drinking for all these different reasons, I think it's even more important as a home bartender to learn even more and more high quality mocktails or virgin cocktails that you can then serve to your guests, because there is going to be an increasing amount of people within your friend circle, especially as the years go on, that are going away from alcohol. So I think it's very important to learn how to make these high quality mocktails to have something that you can serve to them. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. If you found the advice in this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I like to do two styles of videos on this channel. The first will be like this one, where I go over different tips and tricks about home bartending. I answer questions on different topics. I do guides on different topics, things like that, share stories from my own journey, and things like that I hope will help you guys become better home bartenders. The second style video will be a tutorial where I show you how to make a specific cocktail. Like I said, I'll get those tutorials out pretty soon for the Roy Rogers and the almond lemonade, so you have even more mocktails in your repertoire. And if you found this advice in this video really helpful, not only subscribe to the channel, but if you really want to take home bartending to the next level, I actually have a paid community on school.com. That'll be the first link in the description below. Thank you. Cheers.